And now, here are two of the most inspiring, badass women I know. Julia Butterfly Hill and Idina Menzel.
Is the floor good? I like the floor. Do you like the floor? You sure? Okay, cool.
Hello, everyone. So, how freaking amazing is the show? Yeah. I agree. And I would like to start, if it's okay, by acknowledging team. And I'm going to tear up now. You all who know me know I do that all the time, whether I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm moved, whatever, I'm crying. I cried all the way through the show, and I'm crying again. It's a great look. Um, but I'm really present to team, and like I am the most known for having done what I did, but I could not have done it without an extraordinary team. And team in this show tonight includes all the people we see and then all the people we don't see and then the people who even stay in this theater after we leave to make it nice for the next show. Team is every single freaking person and we all matter, so I want to acknowledge that. And I'm just in awe that I get to be here with you tonight and with all of you for such an important show. Like, our world needs more of this in every format, in every space, all over the world. And, you know, I have my cheat notes. I don't know how well I'll do. We worked on it. I studied them. I forgot them. I studied them again. I forgot them again. That's why she's the actress and I'm the activist. But tonight I wanted to come because I wanted to really do everything in my power to uplift the ultimate, like the message, the legacy of this show. And one of the things that I was really present to is the courage it takes to put forth an original piece, and an original piece that is so deeply driven by the heart. Extraordinary. And the cool thing is that the root word for courage is cour, from the French, which means heart. And the power of courage is that it only shows up when we face obstacles, and then our love draws us to be bigger and bolder than we ever knew ourselves to be. Our love draws us to take action. Our love draws us to say yes to something that feels overwhelming and too big to conquer. How could I possibly do fill in the blank? But love doesn't allow us to say no to whatever that calling is. Love is a profound yes that calls us to say yes to something like what you all have created here.
Thank you. I'm just going to let her keep talking. I just sang 12 songs. She sounds good. Thank you.
I can shut up now if you'd like to say something.
No, well, you did. You're crying. Sorry, everybody. It's very special that you're here. First of all, we finally first met yesterday. I mean, I feel like I know her because I've been with her and experiencing her and using you as an inspiration, channeling you is a better word. And for you to be here this weekend when this is our final weekend, it's such beautiful closure for us. Thank you so much. And it is hard to make original material, so thank you for acknowledging that. Because people quite often ask for it, and then when they get it, they critique it. So,
Well, let
sorry.
me
This
give
is
you
about love
no,
and
but let me give
courage.
you. I got something to help you in this moment because I learned when I accidentally became public, I learned these great lessons. For every action, there's an equal and opposite criticism, and no deed goes unpunished. So you're rocking it.
When I first, uh, when I first heard about you, Julia, um, I was struck. I'll go in the order, because I'd like to say I wanted to go up there and save the redwoods and go in front of those companies and tell them to fuck off and all that. But I was so taken with the idea of this woman just being catapulted, drawn to do this kind of service, to have this kind of fortitude and endurance to do something like that. And it made me question myself and what I've given back in the world and what am I possible, what am I capable of? And so that was the first thing that came to me. I guess that's kind of self-serving, but no, I was inspired by what you had accomplished, and I wanted to do something like that, but I didn't know how to do it. And and then I was also drawn to the idea of escaping and all the things that I wanted to run away from. And this is before I had my son, I would say. He's here, so I don't want him to think. Um, but yes, and and what that would be like to press pause and to um, just do that and take a breath. And then I, in researching all of this, I fell in love with the redwoods and everything that they represent, and and that's when I went to Tina, and you know asked her if she was interested in working on this. This is so many years ago, with me, and she felt very strongly about similar things. She has a love and affinity for the trees, and so I want to. I don't know. Are you here, Tina? I just want to thank her. Because Tina Landau has courage. Every project that she does, she doesn't phone it in. She takes risks, and she's given her entire heart to this. Everything that you see on stage, she put in I don't know the technology word, but like she's got, what is it? What kind of files does she have of like all the pictures and the images and all her research of Julia and other arborists um, and activists, and so much of what you saw is straight out of what she manifested it, and she brought the community together and this team so that we could all um, do this together. Anyway, so that was the order um, of of how I came to this. So I'm being honest about that, but I still am hard on myself about how much I can give back, and then just meeting you and being around your presence, it inspires me to want to be even better. And I hope it inspires everyone to take action. And there are so many, I'm talking a lot now, sorry.
You're who they want to hear.
No, that's not true. That's not true. I think now that our show is, we're leaving now for a little while. I'm sure it's out in the ether, and people will discover it in different ways. I think that there are several things in the show that I would love to leave, that I've learned for myself, and that I hope we can go out, ripple effect, butterfly effect, and impart to others in this world that we live in right now that is very tumultuous and hard to understand. I think the main thing is I had this thing, I think Tina actually said this to me, and I didn't want to get it wrong. Sorry, hold on, I want to say it right. Oh, God, come on, Idina. Oh, by saving the earth, we are saving ourselves. Did you say that? And she got that from you? Oh, no, she said that. What? Julia said that? I got it from you. By saving the earth, we're saving ourselves. Go ahead.
I was just going to add to that, that what I've always said is what we do to the earth, we do to ourselves. So it's both and, that every single time we make a choice, it doesn't happen in a vacuum. And so it's actually impossible to make no difference. It's actually impossible to not have an impact. And so what we do to the earth and what we do to each other, we do to ourselves, because we are truly all one. Just like the redwood roots teach us that we're all connected. And that's a beautiful thing, but that's also a call to responsibility. But not responsibility from like, oh, you should. I'm like, stop shoulding all over ourselves. We've done enough of that. But responsibility from our love is our joy that happens because we have the ability to respond. And so, yes, this is what you said, that when we save the earth, we save ourselves, but also what we do to one, we do to ourselves. And that can shift our perspective so that it's not just about like, are you a tree hugging hippie, which I'm really proud that you are now too. But just that every choice we make can be an expression of love for the earth and for one another, and also for ourselves, because what we do to the earth, we do to ourselves.
What I learn every night from doing this show, which I hope maybe you also felt this, is another thing that I feel like we learned from the Redwoods, and that people have seen this. I hope they can take with them that we're not alone. I feel that every night, that we're not alone, and that we are resilient creatures, and that our loss or the things that have hurt us or we feel might have destroyed a part of us, that they are like the heartwood, that they are, we don't have to run away from them. We don't have to push them. We can hold on to them and let them become part of our identity and let them strengthen us. So that's another thing that I think about every night when I'm up there on that fake tree. Do you want to talk about the difference between being in a real tree and being on that?
Well, I will say that when you're doing your spectacular piece with the leaves, that we all like lost it over. And I think most people just lose it over because it's such a spectacular piece, both visually as well as just the energy you push for. I can't believe this. I have to like take a side note. I cannot believe the big sound that comes out of your little body. It's extraordinary. But in that piece in particular is one of the numerous times throughout the show that I cried. And I cried because I'm immediately transported to my experience of living with an over 1,000-year-old ancient elder for 2 years and 8 days and not touching the ground and just being one with that tree and that experience. And I learned so many things in that experience, but like up at the top of the canopy, the shape of the needles are different than the shape of the needles at the bottom. And as I lived through fog and rain and sleet and hail and snow and winds and all the things, there was many times that the fog was so thick that I could just barely see past my fingers. And so it had me become really aware of the tiniest little thing. And as I've been in New York, I'm trying to handle it. It's a little hard. I know you all love it. I'm not trying to take it away from you, but it's a little hard. And what I see in New York is this constant chasing of the next fanciest, brightest, shiniest thing. And when we do that, we miss the magic in the minutia. We miss it. And so it's like we're so rushing for the next big thing that we miss the miracle that's right here, right now. We're all getting to have a miracle together right now. This show creates a miracle every time it's shown, and that will last forever, forever. But when I was in the tree and I was looking at the needles and listening to your singing, I was thinking about when I realized that the needles at the top of the tree are shaped like knobby fingers. So that way, even on a foggy day, the needles pull the moisture out of the air. And then they start to drip it down the branches, and then it goes down the branches and gathers more and more and more. And then the needles at the bottom of the tree are more flat, so that when that water hits it, it literally acts like nature's sprinkler and sends the droplets out to nurture the soil all around the tree. And the redwoods need that moisture to become what they've become, but the beauty of the design of this natural world. Like we love how smart we get, and yet the brilliance of the natural world is like, yeah, I already been there, done that. It's cool. And so that's what I was experiencing each time, last night and tonight when I was watching you and listening to you, that the majesty of a needle and the shape of a needle, that we are in awe of the great big redwood trees, but also the shape of the needle plays a part in how they become who they become. And for me, that's also important for all of us, that we all realize that we're all important. We all have something special to provide. We all have a gift that's uniquely our own, that is our gift to offer to the world. And this play also touches on mental health, which is something I've struggled with since I was a child. I was born a deep empath, and I feel like everything happens to me. I don't just feel it, I feel it like it's happening to me. And I tell people that I feel like Luna saved me as much as I saved Luna, because it gave me this way to express my deep love and all the things that I feel for the world. And that is there for all of us, that whatever it is that is we care about and that it calls us, it's no more important to be the redwood tree or to be the needle, or to be the mycorrhizal fungi, which is a really hard thing to say, under the soil, that also feed the nutrients to the tree. So even when we sometimes feel like we're not being seen, to know that we matter and that what we can contribute matters. The redwoods have so much to teach us.
I'm not going to try to just tell you anything more about the redwood.
We only have a few minutes more, so I want to turn it back to you because it's such a blessing for us all to have this special time with you. And I want to acknowledge that you're like having to use your voice constantly and you're putting out all this energy constantly, and then you're doing it on a very personal level again after the show. So I want to thank you for that. I know it's so meaningful that like I'm leaving, it's going to be with me the rest of my life. And I'm sure for most, if not all of us here, we get to hold this within us and take it back out into the world. And so with our few minutes left, I would love to know, like, yes, this is closing on Broadway, but the legacy is going to live forever. It's going to live in the hearts and the minds of everyone you've touched. Like, as I've been posting about this show, I've had people posting on my post about how this show has touched them. Really? Oh, yeah. And I know from people I've talked to and from things that I've heard and read how meaningful this is in so many different ways. But I'd like to know, like, what would you like to say as the legacy of this show? What would you like for it to bring out into the world and continue on? Because it's growing underneath the soil, and all these little saplings are going to be popping up for the rest of time, and it's going to be you and your team's fault. So what are some of the themes or the things that are important to you that are the legacy from all the heart that you all have put into this?
Well, I think the thing that's guided us the whole time is the roots and um, and how they, reach out and clasp each other like hands or arms, and that hopefully people won't feel as isolated. And they, like you started the whole conversation off with team, so it's connection, it's connectivity with each other in the world and finding our commonality. Um, um, there's something that we don't have in the show that I was reading about that, and correct me if I'm wrong, when a redwood does fall, that they're sort of sacrificing themselves in a way so that more sun can get in, and then their sort of ecosystem on the ground, it becomes like a whole other ecosystem. It's huge if you go and visit them, and there's all these different creatures and things that grow from it, or the branches themselves. And then there's branches that look like any trees we see here look like they're growing out of these branches. So it's just the endurance, the sort of not giving up, I think, on ourselves. Like the redwoods don't give up. They survive. They through fires, and like I said, I just think it's that we're not alone. We're here for each other, and that's just what I take from.
That's wonderful. Good. Thank you.
Can I ask?
Yes. Go
Can
for
I
it.
ask you a question? I was thinking about how do you, how can you be such, how can one be such a fighter and a warrior at the same time as being a peacemaker and someone that is all love? How do you reconcile that kind of thing when all you want is everyone to be as one, as you said, but then you have to go out there and you have to fucking fight? How do you find all of that in yourself?
It's a great question because actually, when I first went up, no lie, I could see the Pacific Lumber Mill that had been taken over by Maxam Corporation. And when it was when it was actually Pacific Lumber, it was family owned, and it was logging in a way that was much more thoughtful of the planet, the communities, the people, everything, future generations. But an outside corporation came in and took over the company, started destroying jobs and the planet and people's lives all at the same rate. And so when I got up to the platform, 180 feet up, I've been giggling to myself because I'm on the 15th story at a hotel tonight. And I'm like, pshaw. But when I got up that high, I could see this mill and I could see all these trucks going by with all these big old trees on the back of them. And my first reaction was, kid you not, what I could do with a good rocket launcher from here. Because that's what I wanted. I just wanted to, get rid of that thing. But then over time, as I stayed and stayed, I realized that my anger was beating me, not the other way around. And so I learned that I tell people, like, if we're not angry at the world today, we're not freaking awake. But do we do what we do out of our anger, or do we do what we do out of our love? And anger was consuming me, and I would have never lasted 2 years and 8 days and being able to do what I was able to do, because the anger would have consumed me. But then what I realized is anger is always a defense mechanism for the fact that something we love or care about, something, a person, an animal, a place, is being hurt, violated, or destroyed in some way. And our anger is the defense mechanism to help protect us from the grief. But that's part of what you showed so beautifully in this show, is that the grief is freaking brutal. But when we can go into it instead of resist it, it transforms us. Just like the heartwood in the tree, just like the phoenix from the flame, that energy is potent and powerful if we learn how to utilize it instead of having it consume us. And I reached this point where I started calling it fierce compassion, because the word passion's still in there. Because in case you can't tell, I got a little bit. It's not going anywhere. But fierce compassion allows that my love is going to drive the choice versus my anger, but that passion, that fire is still in there. And another thing that I had to learn from was I grew up with a preacher for a father, and I climbed up onto a 180-foot tall pulpit and then started thinking I could preach to the world, and it didn't go very well. Because I was like talking down to the loggers, do you know, blah, 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 a whole list of facts and figures about why I was right and they were wrong. And needless to say, that didn't go very well because none of us like being told we're bad and wrong, and none of us like feeling like we're being preached at and being like, you know what you should do. Like, I grew up with that. I never liked it, and then I turned into it. It was horrible. And so when I had that aha, I was like, okay, I need to shift how I'm thinking here. And one of the things that I started to realize was that we have the choice to be, in many cases, we have the choice to either be right or be connected. And the Redwoods teach us about connection and the strength of connection. And I started telling the other activists, I'm like, if right was might, we would be further along. We're not further along because we've chosen right over connection. And it's a very humbling place to have to stand because our righteous anger in some ways makes us feel like we can stand taller and bigger and all of these things. And to let that go means we have to open up our hearts. It's humbling, it's vulnerable. But I lasted through the worst winter in recorded history of California. I couldn't have won with might on that one. There was no way. And I couldn't win with might against this massive corporation with millions and millions and millions of dollars. I was terrified of my vulnerability in the beginning, terrified of it. And when I began to let go and embrace it and be willing to go there, I found a power within myself that I never knew was possible. And that's what I saw all over your show, all over. The power of being able to go right there and say, here I am, this is me, this is what I care about, this is what I believe in, and look at the beauty and the brilliance and the power that can come when we're willing to do that. And you did it. I think our time's up, girlfriend.
Thank you, everybody. Love you.